Time sure flies. I ended up pushing this September 1st update a couple of weeks because there has simply been so much going on lately. But it's not been forgotten. This video will go through some of the highlights of what came out over August and September as we look forward to Alpha 20's release. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribing as you watch this. It really does help me grow and provide more content. Let's start with something fun to watch. On the forums it was asked whether animals now burn properly, and I assume this was asked out of concern of the poor animals, of course. It was responded to in the affirmative. Bears burn brightly. And doesn't that just look so awesome and sad? Oh, it's so very sad. Maybe you should have tried on a pack of zombie dogs and we would have all been cheering. Dynamic imposters, meaning distant terrain updates with player bases, is included in Alpha 20.
Okay, so there's a new thing. So a guy named Danny Richardson, who's been modding 7 Days for quite some time, he came to the Fun Pimps with a dream and an idea and a prototype of dynamically rendered imposters, meaning your player bases, when you go in the distance, it'll change them. If you build a tower to the sky that's your base, it'll represent that in the distant terrain, so you can see your base and you can see enemy opposing guy's base if you're playing PvP, or your friend's base at the distance. And so we liked what he was doing. We hired him, and there's some options in the game menu, but the default option is going to be able to render your own player bases near your bedroll and land claim. So that's pretty darn cool that you can see your base from a long ways away. It's not just other POIs.
Let's look at a bit at some of the screens shown of Generation, where they showed storm drains going under roads. You see sidewalks, even an overpass, and the Generation looks great. We do have a better look at the Generation of cities, and it just looks stunning. Much more organic, much better layout of buildings, streets, and absolutely gorgeous cities being randomly generated. In continuing with terrain, here are some great shots of the new plans, how it looks with the shadows, the shading, and all that, and the terrain itself. It looks really good. Natural and organic, pun intended. A slight concern in the way it looks is, however, when you zoom in, it looks like it's been planted sort of in a very square fashion. You see those tufts of grass. They're in rows, they are square. I understand this is probably due to plants being in the center of blocks, but it does make it look very weird. Now for something really cool. Vehicles have been updated to carry an additional passenger. I think it's with the vehicle mod, but we can see this in the 4x4 truck. Even though sitting leaning against the exhaust seems to be a recipe for burn damage, but still it's great to see this added. We have that on the motorcycle as well, and while I think the cops might object to the lack of helmets, it's great to finally have that in vanilla. I believe the minibike has also been updated so we can finally drive out, pick up our friends, which has really been long overdue. Something else that is super sexy is the Rad Zombie, where in a recent stream it was highlighted that while it would likely be in, it would come without any coded ranged attacks for Alpha 20, and that the ranged attacks would only be in Alpha 21. I was sad to hear it, but then Fatal, our hero, came out on the forums that he had coded up a really nice range area of effect radiation attack. And I think that was excellent news. We really do need more special zombies with special abilities and attacks. A big thank you to Fatal for getting this done, and I do hope it's coming as a complete enemy in Alpha 20 as a result. Speaking of zombies, another cool zombie remake in HD is the Lab Zombie, which has gotten a high definition makeover. It looks great, and with that dangling hand physics they've added, I think that's a nice touch. The facial skin and the lab coat looks a little bit too smooth and shiny. Maybe it needs a bit of roughening out, honestly, because that skin would make a 3-month-old baby look old. There are of course other zombies that are getting an update, and a couple of favorites were shown off, and I think the spider and the white zombie will look really good. The cop also. Home base building is getting a great overall. We are getting 1,200 or more block shapes for each material. And this will be available not just in creative, but also in survival through the new shape menu.
So as you can see here, we've revamped the creative menu, organized everything into different categories there on the left-hand side. You've got the different shape menu icons up at the top there. You got the different categories of wood and brick and so on and so forth. Try to organize these into subcategories as well. So you got like construction, destruction, electrical, and basically what you'll see is every shape in the game. You can see right there in this version there's 1,201 total shapes. If you hit Shift R, or if you hold R, you'll get the radial menu, and it will allow you to select a shape. This is the screen that the player will see, and you can tell that it's laid out almost like the creative menu. And what you'll do is you'll collect wood, you'll craft a frame shape, and then with that variable helper block that's in your toolbar, you can then select any shape in the game.
This is huge and will really help us all make more of these awesome bases that then can be seen in the distant terrain. And all of this has helped and been driving the creation of the current 145 plus, which would probably be 170 or more POIs at launch. We're getting a tremendous amount of new buildings to explore that will make up the cities as they're generated in random gen for our pleasures to explore, loot, and fight in. The Fun Pimps have shown off a bunch of them, but there are so many more out there that I know I am extremely excited to get my hands on and explore.
And it just kind of shows the process we used, and sort of, and this has my stuff and Hernan's and Earl's. It has all of our, and you can kind of see our sort of like prototype city work that we were doing. And a lot, maybe not all of these will be shipping POIs in A20, because some of them may be sort of, just experimental facades and whatnot. But a lot of them actually have become shippable POIs, which you will be able to play in A20.
There's also great news for console players. While I went into this in detail in previous videos, so check back there. In short, they are contracting with a porting partner for next-gen console and want to backport it to the current-gen console, meaning PS4 and Xbox One. Furthermore, they're looking at crossplay and dedicated servers. So there is a lot planned for after the PC version goes gold. The Fun Pimps are planning on weekly streams to keep showcasing different parts of Alpha 20, and while I cannot recommend anyone to spend hours of each of these, I definitely will keep on covering them in bite-sized videos to bring you all the key news. I do hope you've enjoyed this look at August to September news. Make sure you hit that like button and give me your thoughts of what parts of the Alpha 20 update are you most excited about. Have a great one.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.